All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have two very important persons here, people here on a Friday evening, and it is wrap-up time. Mr. Ben Liston is here, and Mr. Albert Berchtold, who is the executive director of the USPA.
It sounds fancy when you say it like that.
It is fancy.
It does, isn't it? Yeah. So they will wrap it up for us. Gentlemen, tell us, it's the end of the competition. It's almost everything over, but at least the formation skydiving competitions are over.
Yep, I think everything is a wrap. We were just taking a look. Everything besides canopy. It's not rotation.
Two-way Pro-Am still has 3 jumps to do tomorrow morning, and then that'll be wrapped up. But today, 16-way finished up, 10-way
Done.
10-way's done. Yep, and the classic accuracy finished up, and all the other crew events except the two-way Pro-Am. I think everything else, artistic,
Yep.
free fly, freestyle, they both finished up today. So really fast moving. A lot of jumps got done today.
Even though we had a bad weather start, actually, it was a little critical for half a day or so.
Right. I think Randy did a great job pushing the pace when he could. There's a couple times that they asked teams to take slightly shorter calls, asked permission if they could shorten it up, and folks were really accommodating on the competitor side, and we pushed through. So, and I don't know if you've been following, or viewers have been following, but it was an epic finish to the day between airspeed and
300ths of a second.
Oh, yep, for the 10-way between silver and gold.
300ths of a second.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Between.
So Ben, how many jumps did you do?
Same as always. Every event of the belly event. So.
And Albert, how many jumps did you do?
Competition jumps, I did 19.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
I did canopy piloting last week, and I did classic accuracy this week.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice. I didn't know you did that as well.
Yeah. Well, I did it. I wouldn't say like it's something I do all the time, but it was really fun.
You competed. You were.
Yeah, I competed in it. It was good. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
I don't think we've had a lot of USPA executive directors who have been jumping at the USPA Nationals.
I can't remember a really active competitor. So it's awesome that you bring that experience to the job and bring the job to the experience out here.
It goes both ways. I mean, I can't remember the last nationals I didn't compete in. I mean, I've been doing them since the early 2000s. Doing four-way way back then, and then I doing four-way video. I did a lot of four-way video with various teams in different classes, and then started doing canopy piloting around 2005, 2006, and I've been doing that.
You were
and then
teammates.
Yep. I did Taiwas. Yep, I've done Taiwas a few times. That's been fun.
Yep.
And I did crew a couple years back, 2012. I did two-way. So and I did classic this year, and I did that probably 10 years ago too.
That's cool.
So it's fun. I like competing, all different stuff. So.
I say so. The 300ths of a second was the 5th formation skydiving event. So let's I'm a dummy as of the other events. I know only belly flying. So Ben is gonna break it down now for.
That's a great responsibility. No, I think that there were incredible races, and I think maybe the most notable thing was the success of the test event of the four-way beginner event, which was so great to have an access point for folks that weren't quite ready to compete with the full draw of the intermediate draw. And the intermediate draw is people that can compete in intermediate and learn all of those different blocks and make it through. That's actually a pretty high caliber of jumping. A lot of stuff
to learn, a lot of stuff to master.
So we see that in the tunnel meets, right? Like the tunnel meets have more junior categories, but below that. So I love that USPA turned that into a test event, and I'm hopeful.
Yeah, there were nine teams in the beginner class. 10, was it 10? Yeah.
Oh, maybe there's a late addition. Yeah.
They did at one point they sat down with all the teams and they asked them, if the beginner class wasn't here, if it didn't exist, if this test event didn't exist, would you be here at nationals competing in intermediate? And more than half of the people raised their hand and said no, we probably wouldn't be here. So that kind of tells a pretty good story that it's that beginner class is having the effect that I think everybody wanted it to, which is drawing out more people to nationals to come and experience competition and get started learning about it at a level with a draw that they're capable of fulfilling and doing and getting some points. So
absolutely,
we heard already from the director of competition, Steve Haber, the same thing. Now it's being confirmed by the executive director. So both are happy with that. So I guess we'll see it next year again.
Yeah, I think we'll see it next year. And as of right now, it's slated to be a test event this year and a test event next year as well. But we'll see where that goes. I think it's going to be on the agenda for the comp committee to consider as to whether or not they want to keep it as a test event or possibly adopt it as a full-fledged official nationals event next year.
Which is so great.
Determined.
When you think about it, it brought 50 more competitors to the table this year, which is
it's great.
Which is huge, and I love it. I look forward to getting back where we'll be running a tunnel meet that we do up in the 12-foot tunnel up in New Hampshire each year. That typically draws 40 plus teams, and there's so many competitors there. I can't wait to tell folks that aren't aware that happened about that next year as an access point to get more crossover between folks that participate in those regional tunnel meets and all the great work that you do with the tunnel and the Cloud League out here. Because I think once people get a taste of it, then they come back for more. And especially when you've got folks like the Knights who just walked by, and Airspeed that and the XP AZ Airspeed, I forget their full name, but that group, when they're so approachable and so helpful with folks with engineering and introducing themselves, and when folks come back the next year and Craig Gerard remembers their name and says it's great to see you again, that just I know that cultivated things for me. All of a sudden feeling like I was part of something. We call it the best boogie in the world.
Let's talk about these world champions now. They came back. The world meet is already behind us, and they came back with gold medals in 8-way, and they won again here the nationals as we expected. But that's also a very unique situation that 11 competitors actually won open. 8-way open, 4-way open, and 4-way women. 8 people. So you're going to have your hands full to determine the delegation for the next world meet. It's not that easy, because you have to have a certain number of people
that return or stay in the lineups. And I think they're really conscious of that, since the rules allowed to have alternates involved as well to make it work. And the end goal, of course, is everybody wants to win here. And then right after this meet, everybody is part of the U.S. parachute team.
Right, from here on forward.
Correct.
It's all about world meet.
Right, and we want the swords in all the events, right? So I think it's a healthy process, and I think the other thing that is awesome is with the women's event. There's an awesome team up in New England, the Fly Girls team, that I know that once they got a taste of World Cup competition, then that becomes the next thing. You get that entryway into nationals, and then once...
Well, and the rhythm situation on top of that.
Right.
There's 3 slots for young, eager new competitors who get to the top level.
Right.
So all that together, I think it looks very promising actually, even though in general, the pandemic made it quite difficult for everybody. But there's some promising stuff on the USPA horizon in the longer term.
Absolutely. And in the FS community, for sure, on the belly flying side. I'm not as connected with the VFS side of things, but there are so many young competitors. It felt kind of stagnant for a while, and now when you look around at all the different teams in the 8-way advanced class, the 8-way intermediate class, the 4-way advanced, the 4-way intermediate, that there's youth.
Yes, there's youth.
Youth and
Yeah,
in intention.
Yeah, the intermediate. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see next year how it goes. On the VFS side of things, the intermediate wasn't as well attended this year. In fact, it was either one or no teams were in it. So, I mean, the test event drew out in 2018. I think drew out 5 teams, and then it went to be a full. And then in 2019, I think there was only 1, and then this year I don't think there were any in it. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the future. And I think it's on the committee's agenda to maybe look at the scheduling of that with MFS and see if there's something that can be done there to, make it more inviting.
Right. And I remember years, the same thing happens in FS. For a couple years, there were only 3 16-weight teams. And I was just peeking in my phone now, and now it was up to 6 this year. So I think that's a great indication of growth, just like the U.S. Team Fund.
Yeah.
Right? There's momentum in so many different areas in skydiving that I think the future is strong on all fronts.
It looks like people are beginning to flock towards the award ceremony.
And towards the awards,
I guess the USPA executive director has to be there
for sure.
Some duties. So.
I wouldn't miss it. I don't think I have too many official duties at tonight's. I mean, other than be there and enjoy it with everybody else. So, Randy takes a big chunk of the emceeing. He's been doing a really great job as meet director and a really great job of running the award ceremonies each evening for the events that have completed. So
we like to stay in the background and let them take it.
Hey, my job's just to help people that are great at doing what they do, help them keep doing it. So
yeah. Well, thank you for the wrap up, and we could talk for hours anyway. I mean, we have so much stuff to talk about, but we can't do that.
I mean, I think it was a good nationals in a lot of the events, and everybody seemed to have a great time and varying disciplines. And it'll be interesting this year with there being the World Championships this year, and then another World Championships back-to-back years. Coming right back here to Eloy again next October for another World Championships with a different team potentially. So it'll be really cool to see how things mix up. Especially like you said in the FS, they'll have to move some chess pieces around and decide who's going to do what.
I'm curious,
right, to take advantage of all the talent that's out there.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah, to see what comes out of it. Well, thank you very much for that. It was a perfect wrap up of for me for the formation skydiving part of the USPA Nationals. And thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll look forward to the stories and stories. There's going to be so much to catch up on with all the tight races. So
thank you for producing all the material for me.
Great.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
See ya.